and stuff, and all of that's really great, and it's nice to know, but you're seeking answers that you already have. I think there was I don't know who said this, but a long time ago, a Buddhist philosopher, I think, was the seeker is the sought. So, you're out seeking, but you're seeking yourself. So what you have to do is you have to go internal. Nothing, you don't need anything from an external. Everything has to come from within, because we are all connected, and our connection is from here. And so going to, seeing people like that, it's going to be very helpful for a lot of people, and it does a lot of healing for people. But if you really want to find the answers, you have to do the work, take time for yourself, work on your inner balance, work on that connection, and then you'll have this heightened sense of intuition, and you're not bothered with what the future is going to be, because you're living your truth, and your path is going to unfold exactly how it needs to. And it's really hard to stay in that zone. We all get up into our head in our everyday life, but if we can always just go back to our heart and focus on love. And the love is this vibration, and it has a color. Green is the color of love. If we can focus on always being green and love, things are going to unfold how they need to, and we don't have to worry about these inorganic beings directing us or manipulating us if we're coming from our heart space. But it's hard to live in that, and that's what the challenge is, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, in our society, we're taught to always, look for something outside of us. And I think that's part of the trick, that we're constantly being deceived that someone else has the answer for us. And I love that you say, yeah, it's back to that basic classic wisdom. It's like the answer is within you. We are all connected with each other, and we're all meant to be, or we're all meant to be connected with each other and with source. And I'm just remembering several little quick teachings from, Dr. Hawkins, David Hawkins, where he would always say, if you have a question, think about the question, meditate on the question, because that's where the answer is. The answer is, if you keep digging down, the answer is in the question. And if you think of the question, it means there is a solution. And so that's really encouraging, because there are some questions that seem to be intractable. He also had a scale of consciousness. So, when you get into the 400s, on the scale, like angelic vibration is 1,000, right? So a human would basically vaporize at 1,000, because our bodies can't handle that high a vibration. But at 400, he said, that's a really intellectual, that's where professors are, and inventors and scientists, and they're thinking, and they're always figuring stuff out, right? And he said, to get to the heart level of 540 is the vibration of unconditional love. And he said, it is the people who have the hardest time breaking into 500 are the ones who have lived in the 400s for a long time. The smarter you are, the more educated you are, the more intellectual you are, the more difficult it is to surrender and just go into the heart and just trust love to be powerful. Whereas intellect is more forceful, the force of your argument, right? Mm-hmm. Versus the power of the healing power of love, So I've struggled with that myself.
Yeah, and it's because those people that are the intellectuals, they're getting all of their information from an outside source. They're looking without when you need to look from within. And unfortunately, we're living in a world, and it's been this way for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, where you're rewarded for that knowledge that you're gaining from without. And so people, the university, the whole system set up, if you really want to have a good life and make a lot of money, you really got to study and learn. It's not about connecting. And we base our success on a lot of people base our success on our financial state, when it really should, everything should be coming from here. And that's really the big difference. And it's unfortunate that we're living this way, and hopefully we can make an impact. And one of my biggest things for me is I like to keep things simple. If it's complicated, it's not coming from source. It's coming from something else. If it's really simple, it's coming from, source or my connection. So I try to keep everything as simple as possible. Don't overcomplicate anything. So that's my view anyway.
I love it. I mean, and when it's cleared, it's like, let it glow, send it to the sun or the violet flame, or just send it away with love and gratitude. And for me, the exciting thing was to feel the shift after you did that session for me a year and a half ago now. Wow, has it been that long? It has. I felt a sense of calm in my apartment. I remember you did clearing in my space, cleared my car. You even cleared whatever you needed to for my cat, and who had gone missing for 9 days, the worst 9 days of my life. I left the window open. It was bitterly cold, 40-mile-an-hour driving rain. And I was freezing I was freezing, but I kept the window open in hopes that he would come back. And he did. He came back one night through the same window.
Oh, good.
And the thing is, after he escaped, the voices came back and said, well, he's gone. Now you don't even have to worry about him. And that was kind of the final test for me on what I was going to do. To say, your cat's gone. He's cute. Someone's going to catch him and keep him indoors, or he's flat as a pancake somewhere. You're never going to find him. But I'd wake up at 3 a.m. in this bitter cold, and I'd go around stapling flyers and taping flyers to poles and trees and all around the neighborhood, and shaking a box of treats and calling his name, because people said cats are nocturnal, so it's best to look for them at night. And finally, I leaned out the window, I lit some incense, and I just asked the angels to watch over him wherever he was, and that I released him to their care, because they knew where he was, and to please bring him back. And I did that in a kind of a ceremony. And I said, I will wait for him to come back. I believe he's okay. And I just have to wait. So I actually went out to dinner with a friend. And when I came, we had a good time, sat there, laughed. I just kind of put everything aside. I took care of me. And when I walked in the house, I heard him meowing. So I rushed to the window and slammed it shut. Came back that very night that I had finally just let go and just release it and send love to him. And then it was after that I had the consultation with you, because I got my cat back, I'm back on track. And I felt a deep sense of peace. I remember experiencing time differently, like time was moving more slowly. I'm not sure how to explain it other than that. I sat down on my bed, on the edge of my bed, and I thought, it feels quiet. It was like energetically, it was more quiet. And yeah, it was just quiet, peaceful, and I think that had to do maybe, and here I am intellectualizing it, but my brain waves going into beta, just going all the time. And I was able to just lower the vibration and just be in a different place, and just be in a different vibration, and just, ask source to send me the energy that I needed to go back out in the world and serve.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because the mind, if you think about it as its job is to produce thoughts, it's a thought machine. It's just thought. And we rely on that way too much. So all of the information we're getting is coming from our mind, and it's doing its job, and it's running. we have to train it, and we have to remember that it's there to work for us. We're not working for it. And by taking time for yourself, like I was saying in earlier, is take 10 minutes a day to just breathe and release all of your thoughts. A thought comes out, just focus on breathing in and out. What that does is that trains the whole mind that, yeah, you're not in charge. You have to be quiet, and you can start turning it on and off, quickly, but it becomes a practice. It's not something that you're going to just pick up, over a few weeks or a few months. It's part of the practice that you need to have.
Mhm.
And it does, like you said, it's the when you felt that sense of calm, the mind wasn't running so much. Came back to your heart center. That's that reset that I'm talking about. We hit the reset button, it brings you back. Now you could have made a choice from there to go back up here, or go this way, or go that way, or up or down, or whatever, and you chose whichever way. That's all on you. But getting to that point where you're here, and then you get to make the choice, okay, I'm going to live up here, I'm going to live down here, I'm going to live, it's all, that's the beauty of your choice. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly how it should be. You feel that sense of calm and quiet, things slow down, you're like, oh, okay. But then you ramp things up how you want them to ramp up. You get to choose, but you have to be in control. You don't want to be controlled by those energetic parasites that are manipulating this space.
And what I love about, when I see a text from you is like, I just did a clearing for you. I'm like, thanks. So I was like, this guy's on my team forever, because I know that there's a lot I can do for myself, but it's just nice to know that you're there for me, and that you're going down the list. So tell us a little bit about the subscription service you offer that I signed up for and that I highly recommend. And folks, I'm not an affiliate. I'm not getting a cut of any of this. I'm just connecting you with Herman because he helped me so much. And I'm so excited to introduce him to this community. And I'm just so grateful for everything he's been doing for me continuously for 1.5 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. So the subscription service, I call it my membership program, is where I work with people on a regular basis. It's very inexpensive. I have two prices. I have an individual price of $15.99 a month, or a family price of $19.99 a month. And what it really does is it gives you a sense of knowing that someone's always going to be watching your back energetically. So how it works is I randomly twice a month check in on the person's energy. And if they need a clearing, I send them an email, say, just cleared your energy. But it also gives that person the ability to reach out to me at any time and say, text me, email me, hey, I think I need a clearing. Can you clear me? And then as soon as I read the email or text, I do the work, and it's almost instant. And most of the members feel, when they text me, I probably get a dozen text messages or emails a day saying, clear me, please. And as soon as I do it, they notice a big difference. That's part of the program.
And I have to say, that is so generous of you. And I've had to do it a couple times. I've had a couple of bad days. And I was like, Herman, what's going on? I just cleared it.
And it'll come in waves. It'll be like you can have a week or a month of just needing work on a regular basis, or you might not need work for 3 to 6 months. You just never know. But how it works is, I want you guys to think about, your energy. And I'm sure you've all heard the term your aura. Think of your aura as this energy bubble around you. It's like your invisible force field. And when things are balanced, inner balance is happening, you're getting good sleep, you're 100%. It's hard for energies to penetrate that. When we have a rough night's sleep, or we're stressed from this or that, our energy is lower, our invisible bubble is running at 25%, 50%. You go into an environment that's a little toxic, and something can attach. And then it may take a day or a week or a month for it to, you really to start noticing it. And it slowly builds. So if you pick up an attachment and it's going to not really start manifesting itself for 3 weeks or a couple months, I'm going to clear it before it even manifests itself. Now, some of them, because I'm checking twice a month, some of them are almost instant. You pick up an energy and you just feel, then that's when people reach out and say, Herman, I need to clear me. And then it's a 5-second process for me to clear that person when you're on that program. So it's not like
they ask the question, this isn't mine.
Yeah. And so
release it. Yeah.
And so, and everything I do is done, it's all through my intent. And so that's why it's a quick process. When someone asks me, my intent is I'm clearing that energy from that person. And so, but it's a good program to have when you're a very sensitive person, or you work in a toxic environment, or you live in a toxic environment. And one of the examples I like to use is hospitals. So you have a nurse, and most nurses work shift work. So they're working long hours, and there's a shortage, especially with the people, the vaccinations and the healthcare people quitting or getting fired, whatever. Nurses and doctors are always short staffed, and they're working long hours. So think about it. Your energy's worn down because you're working. What types of energies hang out in hospitals? Is it all happy, love, happy go lucky? No, it's sickness, it's sorrow, it's fear, it's death. And so you're in this environment where there's all this dark, negative energy, and you're worn down because you're working too much. You're going to pick that stuff up on a regular basis. And so those are the type of, I started this program for people that work in those environments, so that, because I didn't want to have to charge people every time they needed a service from me every 3 or 4 months. I wanted an ongoing, inexpensive program where I can help people so that it doesn't build and build and build and turn into something else. Another sign of, just a quick sign, is if anyone ever has a nightmare, that's a sign of a negative attachment to the person or the place. And so if any of my members have a nightmare, I get a text, hey, I have a lot of little kids, and the moms will text me, oh, so and so had a nightmare. And it's like, oh yeah, she needs a clearing, or he needs a clearing. And I do it, and the nightmares go away. And I might hear from them in another 4 or 5 months. Oh, so and so had a nightmare. Then take care of it. That's kind of how the program works. So thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate you sharing my info with your listeners here. But that's kind of how the membership program works. But to be eligible for the membership program, you have to go through my initial clearing and healing session, because that's more of an in-depth hitting that reset button like I was talking about. This is just more of a maintenance program.
Maintenance, yeah. First you do the 100,000-mile tune-up, which is a little more expensive than the 20,000-mile tune-up.
Yeah.
But it has to be done if you want things to run smoothly, you want to prevent major problems. It's something to be done. So tell us, what is your special offer for the audience? You really aren't offering this in general anymore, as I understand, but you're kind of holding it in reserve for special occasions, such as today. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so if anyone is interested in my services, I would be happy to give you a free 15-minute consultation where we just set up a time to talk. It could be a phone call, a video call, whichever it needs to be. We need to be able to speak to each other. And I will just give you a rundown of what I see happening with you energetically, or any member of your family or friends. I can just kind of run down what's happening. Not a lot of specifics. It's more general stuff about energetic parasites and how they're affecting you. So that 15-minute consultation is what I'd offer anyone that's interested. So,
which I highly recommend, because when I called you for my first 15 minutes, I think it must have been in the first 5 minutes, I was in tears, and I'm really not a crybaby. I'm pretty tough, but just what you were telling me, I resonated so deeply with it. It just felt like it was like tears of relief. Mm-hmm. That finally, like people who have chronic illness, and they go into all these doctors, and then finally they get an accurate diagnosis and the appropriate treatment, and things are resolved finally. It felt like that. It felt like that, like, oh, finally, this is a turning point for me. And so yeah, folks, so now how can they get in touch with you? Big question.
Yeah, so I have a website. It's hermanpetrick.com. You can go to that website. There's a contact form, or you can just email me directly. My email is Herman, Herman, at hermanpetrick.com. And I'm sure you'll put a link somewhere on this, I would guess. So you can either email me directly and say, hey, I heard you on this program, or just contact me and say, hey, I'd like a free consultation. And I'd be happy to, how it'll work is I'll send you a link, and you can schedule it whatever time works for you, day and time. So yeah, that's the best way to reach me.
like an online calendar. So folks, if you take advantage of this, when you reach out to him, just mention my name, just mention Oracle Angela, so that we can know like what kind of response and what level of interest there is among this audience. And we just like to track that, because if this is something that resonates with you, we can do more of this. I want to know, what are your needs? What are your interests? What kind of goals do you have for yourself? Do you want to learn more about clearing? You know, is there any particular, we covered a few different topics in this discussion today. So if you have any questions about anything that we mentioned, whether it's Dr. Lu, Ho'oponopono, Dr. Hawkins, Don Del Vecchio, or any other questions, please don't hesitate. You can reach out to me. The link is below, or reach out to Herman. And I do encourage you to take advantage of, he's being so generous with his time, a free 15-minute consultation with Herman Petrick. So is there any other thoughts or things you'd like to leave us with today?
I just want to thank you for having me on your show. It's really nice to connect with you and speak. And you have a good thing going there, and there's so many topics. You can pick one little thing and do a whole show on that. I mean, there's just a vast array of things that can be discussed around, you know, energies and, you know, how they're affecting us and stuff. So, but I appreciate you having me here, and it's really nice to connect with you again.
Oh, so good. And thank you for all the work that you do. I think anyone, regardless of their religious background, I think they can understand when someone says, you know, I feel heavy, I feel sad, and I don't know why, and I don't know how to shake it. You know, I think a lot of people, regardless of their medical training, understand that popping a pill isn't necessarily the best solution in every case. Sometimes it can be helpful, but
Oh, definitely.
we've become a, you know, go-to society. Go to the pharmacy, go to the pill, go to the, you know, to the doctor. And I did that for many years. I had chronic illness for 20 years, going back to what you were saying about being so worn down. And that's another reason I just had tears during that consultation, because I really felt seen and understood. And I hadn't felt that level of understanding in a long time. That I was tired. I was 52, and I was dealing with some health issues that the doctors were not helpful with, you know. Like, oh, it's an allergy. It's not an allergy. You know, and so I was frustrated and feeling really worn down. And I want to thank you for, you know, from the bottom of my heart, for all you've done for me. So, okay, everyone, enough of that mushy stuff. Reach out to Herman Petrick, Herman at hermanpetrick.com, and I'll put it down here below on the screen, and we'll go from there and we'll see what happens. So please contact me. You could text me 914-792-8100. Let me know your thoughts about this video, and you know, you can communicate with me privately that way. Text me anytime, day or night. It's, you know, when I'm sleeping, I shut the phone off. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, feel free to text me anytime, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Let me know if you have any other questions, and if there are any aspects of this conversation that you want us to go into a little more deeply. All right, everyone. Thanks again, Herman. This is Celeste Angela Albritton, Oracle Angela, signing off. Until we meet again.
Thank you.